Okay.
But my first question for you is, do you have any dance experience? I know you went on tour with Big Frida during.
Well, I didn't go on tour. I did one of her shows.
You did, yeah. Back in September, you did one of her shows. So did you open for Big Frida? Mm-hmm. Did you perform with Big Frida?
Not perform with.
Okay.
She did shout the girl out a few times,
That's
but
sweet.
no, I didn't perform with her. I opened for her set on her tour, the Big Diva Energy Tour. It was. Yeah, in the Detroit show.
Nice. And then your choreographer Sean Pfeiffer had mentioned you're a natural dancer and a good mover. And even as you got in college, Pride Source Magazine had mentioned you kind of expanded your music interest by diving into the club scene. So my question really is like, how did you get this dance experience? Were you in anything as a child, or you just kind of like always grooving in the house? How did that come about, and how did choreography become a priority, especially in your music videos and your performances?
I mean, I think that was like a you was really looking for that question, but no, that's a really good question. I think I've always liked to dance, and I think like when I was younger, like when he was like, oh, you ain't got no rhythm, but it's like I was like not really dancing because like, you know, closeted queer. So I was like, every time I would dance, like I would dance at home with my brother, like when it was just us at home, and I would like, you know, be really expressive with my movement. I've always been really interested in dance and all kinds of dance. I think I just have like a natural feel for music, so I just like really try to do what is expressive to my own body. And I never really had any like kind of like formal dance training or took any like dance classes and anything of that nature, but just like feeling the music and just like kind of thinking from like a choreography perspective. And I have like watched so many videos on dance and my favorite like artists and their choreography, their dance breaks. So like I really was like doing the study and doing the work when it came to like coming up with like dances that were like, I wanted to be very specific to me. Like I wanted to really craft my own vibe when I was moving, and like what, you know, I didn't want to like, this is a popular style of choreography. I didn't want to really do that. I want to make my own style. So that's why like working with Sean was like really interesting, because Sean has like goes to NYU Tisch for dance.
Last semester for them as well.
Pardon?
Last semester for them as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they will be they had that kind of classical dance experience, and like partnering with them to work on the choreography was something that was like really, really interesting, because it's like I really just got to, you know, I think it was something as like a building confidence type thing. Is like I think being with someone who's like a really skilled dancer and like really respecting you in a space where you can dance allows you to be more free and like experiment with movement.
Yeah, cool. You said you started writing music when you were 7, and you started
in 7th grade.
In 7th grade,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you were recording by the age of 17 with your first live performance at 19. You grew up with 3 grandmas, and as I mentioned earlier, you got into Y2K sounds and 90s house music. Who are some of your top influential singers as you started to grow up? I know a lot of us, when we're children, we just got what our parents get us hip to. Who are some of your most influential singers? You mentioned you heard a lot of black female singers growing up in the house.
Yeah, I think there's always like a singer that like, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like there's a singer that every person who sings like really gravitates towards and like loves their voice and feels like they not taught them how to sing, but like they really have been so inspired by their voice. And I think for me, Amy Winehouse, like that was an artist that I listened to all the time. My mom will always play Amy Winehouse all the time, and I just really fell in love with her voice on my own. So I think, Amy Winehouse is truly like one of my favorite vocalists ever, but I still did like have that exposure to like artists like Tina Marie and Patti LaBelle and Anita Baker. I love Anita Baker especially. Sade, I don't know, literally anybody you can think of, from like Whitney Houston, of course, but like anybody who was really just a powerhouse songstress, vocalist, who was a female, especially because when I was like younger, I was like in the I was in the alto section, so I was doing my thing. And even until high school, I think freshman year, I was still in the alto, like countertenor. So I was doing my thing, but I just loved, like, I don't know, the expression of female voices and like really the ways that they just perform. Like when they perform, they're really performing. It's like such an emotional experience.
They carry it with them.
They really do.
You had mentioned in one of your previous articles, I'm just looking at clothes to see what looks best on my body rather than trying to dress like a man or a woman. And in music, there's a huge intersection between artists and fashion all the time. You also said in one of your songs, front row at Fashion Week, London, a Paris boy. So I was wondering, just kind of as a fun question, if you could walk at any fashion show in the world, where would you go? From Met Gala to New York Fashion Week, and who would you want to wear?
I think one designer that I really feel gravitated towards right now is like, I don't want to butcher this name, but Ludwig Saint Desserine, LDSS is what people have shortened it to. But he's a very, or I don't know his pronouns, but he is a very he focuses on like, I don't know, using that kind of like quote that I said of like masculine and femininity and like blending that lines and like putting men in traditionally feminine clothes and like showing the body in ways that isn't to like accentuate or promote this like societal idea or norm of like, this is what it means to look like a man, this is what it means like a man in fashion. He plays with fabrics and minimal fabric and minimal coverage and bikinis and Swarovski crystals, and I think I really feel like connected to that brand and like the brand identity. So if I were to walk like at any show, I'd love to be in any show, but like, or like be wearing it at Fashion Week, I'd love to be wearing, that brand. That's one brand that I feel, at least right now, really connected to. But I love so many different fashion brands, like so many. Literally, you want me to name? I don't know.
That's good. There are like pieces of Detroit techno, which here was born in Detroit, and pop and dance. We were scouring for those producer credits, those like, who did you work with? Mm-hmm. Who are some of and you have mentioned like you worked with a lot of different people and listened to so much different music before you crafted that final sound. Who are some of the different producers and musicians you worked with during your formation of Black Popstar, your new EP?
So I think like most notably, I worked with Nathan Twardowski and Brian Desmond. They helped me to complete the project, and I think it's actually really crazy because I think it's so full circle because we actually went to high school together, and then time passed and we reconnected, and then we ended up like working on music together, and working with them was like a really fluid process. They understood my style and what I was going for, and I think like as we really got into the process, they really like knew what I was liking. And I think as an artist, I have a really hands-on perspective as to what I'm looking for with my sound, and really am engaged and involved in the production. And I think that's something that a lot of artists leave in the hands of other people and just sing the songs. But I don't think that's not me, and that's not that's not authentic to me, to my storyline. I think I have to really be involved in the creation of the story, the telling of the story, and that story stems from the music, solely, really from the music. So I think working with them, I really found people who really understood and connected with my sound and liked my music, and we really made some great things. Especially with their jazz experience and jazz and house music and techno and pop music, even having that connection. I think it was really important to work with people who are jazz musicians, because that linkage creates that unexpected quality that is so important in house and techno music of what is coming next, and just helps with the development of the sound.
And my second to last question is, where do you see Reginald Hawkins or Black Popstar in the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you see yourself in the reach of the future? Where do you see yourself performing?
Well, honestly, by 3 years, I'll be 25. I'm 22 now. I'm hoping I have completed my first or second world tour. That's the biggest goal for me, is to be like a global touring artist. I want to go to every country and perform music everywhere. So I really want to be touring across the world by then. And hopefully, have released a full-length project, maybe 2 by that time, 2 full-length projects, and just, I don't know, have some really interesting things going on, really cool projects that I'm working on, but I want to really just be in the Popstar fantasy and be touring, and, I got to do that, like, just record and dance rehearsal and write music and work on creative direction, and then, boom, there was the project. So I can't wait to get back into that and just do that all the time.
All right, and that wraps up all of my main getting to know you questions. We got Black Popstar, the EP coming out. Where can people connect with you? What else do you want people to know right now? You got the mini doc coming out. Let people know what's going on.
Okay, well, the Black Popstar EP came out and the doc came out, but you can look, if you look, link in bio at Black Popstar on Instagram. You can see everything as far as and find a lot of my work. But if you look on any major streaming platform, Reginald Hawkins, Black Popstar, your girl comes up. Look on YouTube, same search. Google a bitch, same search. It's gonna come up. So. Yeah, that's you can find me everywhere and keep up with my journey.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Is that it?
Yeah, that was so good.
Oh, thank you.
So good. Oh man, this is my first time.